Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet, here on our nice, comfy couch. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for September 1st, 2019, with your host, Space Breaker 2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
You so wanted to say the wrong day, didn't you?
That, and I did the intro wrong, so I had to spend 10 minutes rewiring virtual audio cables. That sucked.
Well, at least it was just rewiring virtual audio cables and not, reinstalling Windows or something like that. Because that does not take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, this week we're talking the OOO solo film, but I would say we're talking 01 first, but I'm the only one of the two of us that's watched the episode sub, since you're waiting on that one.
Yeah, I'm at least going to wait till next week's to kind of get a better feel.
I can already tell you I have a feeling of where this show is going. I think. Mainly because I'm just looking at all the pieces that we have on the board at the moment and going, well, this seems to be how they all fit right now. Like, logically speaking, this is how they all fit.
Now, as long as, it doesn't pull a Geo and, reset everything midway through, we're doing real good.
Yeah. Although I do love that the show is using the loophole of, okay, these characters are not humans, they are robots, so we can do some pretty screwed up shit. Because it's okay, they're robots, they're not people. Because if you've ever wondered why Transformers got to be brutally violent back in the day in the 80s, it's because they're robots, no one cares. As long as you're not chopping people's arms off, you're fine. But you can chop a robot arm off all day long. I'm trying to think of, not super specific stuff. I have seen talk of Parad 2.0. Because we kind of have I wouldn't say he's exactly Parad, but he's in a similar vein of Parad.
For the sake of the show, I hope it is at least that. And it don't turn into a Parad 2.0 kind of deal.
I don't think it will. I think this is more a case of, oh, you two aren't going to be redeemable, are you? Your implication, yeah, no, there's probably no redemption for the either one of you, to later in the show, potentially.
Maybe.
They're going to have to work hard, considering what Parad 2.0 does just straight up in this episode. I'm no, there's not going to be any redemption for you. I don't know if I could take your redemption.
Granted, it is just the first episode, so,
yeah.
A lot can happen.
I can definitely foresee a lot of people probably not liking the comedy of the show, because it seems to be very Japanese comedy. There's going to be a lot of wordplay on Naruto's part. So granted, for a lot of that, I'm just well, Emu wasn't the best character in the world to start off with X-A, but he got better.
True.
So I'm willing to just let that ride for now. Granted, I've seen people disappointed by the opening or the first episode. And I see one in one Discord chat talking about it.
Okay, to this I have to then follow with, is it someone that likes like Kabuto or Geo? No. Okay, well then I can at least give them I can at least have an open mind to hear why they think it was bad. Anyhow, then.
Yeah.
Because if it was someone that liked one of them too, then I'd be like, no, not gonna listen to what you gotta say.
I will give credit that they set up Aruto to be heroic, because they put the call to action, just to use the Larry term, the call to action, in front of him early in the episode, and he doesn't do it for very obvious reasons. He only accepts the call to action when the threat is in front of him. And even then, he kind of ignores like the weirder part of the call to action, which is the whole president and the CEO of the company part, and just like, I want the driver to stop the monster from trying to kill the person that's running the park here. Like the whole president CEO thing is like the last thing on his mind when he actually takes the belt, which good. But no, I dug the first episode. I'm hopeful. I've seen. One second.
That's a lot longer than a second. Just saying.
Alright, I'm back.
You missed.
I had to step away, but I had to step away because my dog was trying to get into trouble.
Ah.
He's, for some reason, wound up right now. I don't know why.
Reasons?
Yeah. And I was going to talk about how, like, I'm seeing one Discord chat talking about a specific character in this episode, and some of the implications of this character are like, wait a minute. But I think, weirdly enough, I think people are seeing the front one, but not seeing the rear, like, implication with that scene. Like, you're seeing the obvious thing that I think you're, like, is supposed to immediately draw people, but when you take a step back and look at that scene overall, and, like, where it's placed, and then some dialogue, like, before and after it in the episode, there's larger implications there that I think are being missed. Yeah, I'll wait till you've got the 2 episodes watched, and I'll see what comes out of episode 2 and see if my thought still holds true of, like, where the show's going. But anything before we kick into Theo's movie proper?
No.
Alright then, like I said, this week we're taking a look at Kamen Rider O's Wonderful, the movie, the Shogun, and the 21 core medals. I don't know if that's the I don't think that's the longest Rider movie title, but it's up there.
It's up there. It's probably at the minimum the longest solo movie title.
Yeah, I'd be willing to say that. But released August 6, 2011, written by Yasuko Kobayashi, directed by Takuya Shibasuke. This is technically not in canon. From a technical aspect, some of the events in this movie don't line up with events in the show, so it's not canon.
Yeah.
But it
kind of sucks because of, one thing that Edgy gets to do.
Yeah, there's a reason why people, I think, put Ozaki like the top of their list in terms of, no, Edgy is like one of the most powerful writers in this franchise.
Oh, I'm not even meaning the last fight.
Oh.
I mean in the sheer fact of the other thing that he gets to do.
Is it before he rides off?
It is the... I guess I can say that, yeah. Okay, it's the fight after the time travel shenanigan deal.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah, that. Okay.
I've probably got people thinking, oh god, time travel. No. But no, this is more or less kind of...
time displacement.
Yeah. And it by no means is it anywhere relatable to Geo, so we're good.
And weirdly enough, it's on a set that doesn't exist anymore for Toei. The set they filmed this on, the past scenes that half this movie takes place in, that set doesn't exist anymore. It caught fire a few years back.
Oh.
Which sucks, because there was a lot of different, like, Togu material that took place on that set. But continuity-wise, this should be about around June 2011. I think the movie timestamps itself around there. I think it does on the news broadcast, I think.
I don't think I caught that, actually.
Because I saw the writer wiki said it specifically like June 2011. I'm like, is there something in the movie that does? And I was looking through it, and I'm thinking it's probably something on the news broadcast that like timestamps it to be there. But yeah, this should put us like pre-episode 37, so pre-Date's exit from the show, but but Gamel and Mizul are around. Which doesn't work. Lost Ankh is not around, which doesn't work. Uva is with the rest of the group.
Okay. Now that... Lost Ankh, I could pseudo see an explanation around that. And it's more because of how his character always kind of just plays by his own rules and kind of goes off and does his own things. So that could explain why we don't see him.
Well, there's one specific problem with that. We have 3 Taka medals that appear in this movie.
Uh-huh.
One of those should be in Lost Ankh, but they're not.
I'm just saying, as for the reason he is not in the movie, that could be used. Yeah, there's still problems.
Yeah, there's that. And then we'll get to an early bird cameo that happens in this movie, but that's also not in canon because that show timestamps itself as taking place like 5 months after the time period of this movie, so no.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get rolling into the movie itself. We kick off with the narration, more or less giving you the basis of O's. Here's the basis of the backstory of O's for reference, because we are going to be playing with that. We cut to Germany. I forget the specific part of Germany, but we're in Germany. I'm guessing the core metals are Germanic in... what's the word I'm looking for?
Origin.
Yes, Germanic in origin. Kogami, along with Satonaka, who's here reluctantly because assistant, so I have to be here. They are opening a vault containing the body of Gaara. He is one of the alchemists responsible for the original metals to start with. But apparently, him and the lost metal, as they say throughout the movie, is sealed in here. Also, they have a Colossus on site. I did not see that when I watched it, but when I was doing notes, I saw it, and I'm like, you just have multiple of those just sitting around? Because we see another one later. But they crack it open, but out comes a fountain of cell metals, which, makes Kogami happy.
Yeah, because that's all he's going for.
But this effect ends up putting a seal on top of an area of Japan and causes it to be switched with this forest area in Germany, a la a coin flip. And for reference, the parts of this scene are the parts that are used in the Ghost finale.
Really?
Yes. So like the wall coming up to start with and all that, yeah, it's used in the Ghost finale. They reused all that footage. It's weird and dumb, and I don't think they've ever had another thing of this happen ever. But after the coin flip happens, several tendrils of cell metals pop up and they take away a mother from her child. That will be plot relevant later. I don't know why they hide her face. Especially when, 3 minutes later, we see that, oh, it's her. Duh. A tower also forms from the cell metals, and several medieval time extras arrive to fight. Also, the tendrils take away Satonaka and Kogami, so they're going to be hanging out in the one set we're going to have for this movie. The one new set. Eiji and Date arrive, transform to fight this army of medieval times extras, and that's our title card. Or that's our cold open to title card. Coming out of it, as Eiji just rider kicks directly through it and through several of the extras. They're doing their best to take out the goons, or take out these cell metal knights, I guess is one thing you could call them.
I guess.
They never get a name.
Yeah, which is odd.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if all their armor and stuff is actually Germanic in origin. Because they just look like regular medieval knights to me.
Yeah, they kind of do to me too.
Yep. But they're all packed with cell metals, thus cell metal knights. They managed to clear them out with a lot of AoE because there are a lot of them. But that is when Gaara arrives on stilts for the whole movie. I have to give this actress props for doing all of these scenes on stilts. She ends up taking a lot of medals from the Greed, who arrive on scene a little bit before, and Ank's book, but they don't take any medals from O's. Specifically core metals, not cell metals.
And, what I find funny about this is I'm wanting to say it actually is stated that Gaara's taking the core metals.
Mm-hmm.
So the weird thing that I think kind of gets brought up here that gets called back later, I believe, but not directly, is the fact that she was, well, that Gara was taking all the core metals from everyone that was greedy. So, yeah, that's kind of funny that, you know, Oz doesn't lose the core metals because of that, and then the thing that happens later in the movie that I'm not going to say right now.
He loses the Taka medal like a couple minutes later.
But it wasn't to that.
Yeah.
Like that was what was bad. He did not lose it because of being greedy per se. He lost it because of the normal Edgy gets smacked hard enough and the metals go flying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's normal.
Although I find it funny that when they're trying to be dragged out, his driver does flash like they're trying to come out, but he just covers up the belt and it somehow works.
Yeah.
I'm like, she can literally drag the core metals out of the very beings of the greeds, but can't pull them out of the belt through Edgy's hand. Nope. Too strong.
Through Edgy as purple greed hand.
Yeah.
So in theory, there is nothing that could change that.
Yep. There's a kid on scene. The mom's, just going to spoil it now, Gara has taken possession of the mom and using her as his body for the moment. But he's protected by Edgy and Date. Gara exclaims that she will be king and not Edgy. And I just wonder if somebody from Geo watched this movie. Because, yeah. This feels like this feels like the exact conflict at the end of Geo of just like, no, I want to be king. No, I want to be king. And I'm like, you know, this works because Edgy doesn't want to be king, right? Like, there's just a weird, dumb thing you want.
Maybe Gara's the precursor to Sogo.
I'd buy that.
Or no, let's go a step further. Sogo's a descendant of Gara. There we go.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Edgy ends up losing the Taka medal in his driver at the moment because he gets smacked away. And the group ends up outside the forest, and a barrier goes up, cutting them off from the tower. So, Edgy has literally no ability to transform at the moment in O's because he's a medal short.
Yeah.
Well, a head medal short.
Yeah. Has, quote unquote, no ability to transform.
No ability to transform, even though as we see later, there are literally two head medals right next to him. One won't give it up, the other he doesn't know.
Oh, and I love that scene later.
We check in with Satanaga and Kagami. They're being kept on a supplanted platform above a pit that it looks like you could just hop and like make that gap. So not the most threatening of death traps. She ends up implying
I honestly figured with that maybe it was something that, they had to keep balance to keep it up.
No.
Especially, and it was kind of being solidified a little later on with the whole, it kind of made it look that way, like that was the gimmick for Gara. And then we just say no. And it's like,
and then Satanaga takes a nap on the...
kidding me.
Yeah, Satanaga just quietly takes a nap on the platform because she ain't getting paid for this bullshit.
Well, I mean, she's used to hearing Kogami go off about this kind of stuff all the time anyhow, so,
Yep. Gara ends up implying things about Kagami that I don't think even at the time of the release of this movie were firmly established in the show. Like, I assume you caught on to what Gara was implying.
Yeah, and I was even kind of like, okay.
Yeah, for reference, Kogami is a descendant of the original O's.
Which kind of explains his fascination with all of this.
Yeah. I don't think that's revealed until the last, 2 or 3 episodes. If not, the last 2 episodes.
Yay, another reason why this can't be in continuity.
Well, to be fair, that isn't, really done anything with... Because he only really tells Edgy that in a conversation, I think, is when we actually get it revealed. So it's not like anybody on the cast needs to, now has that information. It's not like it really changes anything.
Well, I mean, I guess, too, I could also see that being one of those... I don't feel like Satonaka would, 1, care, or 2, care to tell anyone else.
Yeah. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if she knew and she just didn't tell anyone, because it's why? Why would you care? Also, why do you think he's obsessed with all this shit to start with?
Of course, to be fair, I could see Satonaka's character just being well, you didn't ask.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean...
we cut to the Kuskaseer after all of this. The kid's getting patched up by Hina, and we find out that his name is Shun. And because of certain things in this movie, I can't help but flashback to Kamen Rider Tyson and go, did someone just rip off Kamen Rider Tyson, the plot points of this movie, and shove them into Kamen Rider Tyson?
Okay, yay. I was not the only one.
Because I'm wait a minute, kid's name is Shun.
I was sitting there the whole movie, I was like, this seems really familiar. Why?
Yeah, kid's name is Shun. Had an argument with his mom that he regrets. Mom is out of the picture. Gets out of the picture real quick. His conflict is with that. The writer tries to help him overcome that conflict. Then the whole flipping, inverting shit is also here as well. And I'm what the fuck? What the fuck, Shirakura? Did you think nobody would notice that you did this 2 years later?
Oh, jeez. Oh, I think the only thing that would be better would be if the kid and the mom were the same kid and the mom from Tyson.
I don't think so.
I hope not. I seriously hope not. Because otherwise that is just wow.
Yeah. But anyway, Eiji uses a bit of her wisdom to pretty much figure out the twist about the kid and mom early. As Eiji is very observant. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already pieced together by now. He just wanted to hear it from the kid.
I kind of would think that too.
We see Gara makes a triplet of jesters who I think are just the same actor superimposed 3 times.
I think so.
Or superimposed twice. I don't think that's an actual triplet.
I don't either.
Cutting back to the Kuskaseer, Goto reveals the backstory of Gara. Pretty much going, she was one of the alchemists. She was killed by King O's because she had this lost metal plan in play and was trying to usurp him. And he said, fuck that bullshit, you're dead. And stuck them both in the ground. Ankh ends up dragging the group off to see one of the jesters, making an offer of 5 million yen to have this weird hairstyle that only exists in period pieces and Japanese period pieces. Also, say hi to a cameo appearance by the Kamen Rider girls. Yeah, the three girls who are in like outfits with the Rider belts. Yeah, that's three people from the Kamen Rider Girls band that do some of the insert songs for Rider. This is weirdly the second only like cameo appearance I can remember that they've done. The other one is a Wizards movie. Anyway, people are hesitant to accept this offer until one person does, and he gets the money and stuff. And now people just gonna go do it. This ends up causing a bunch of cell metals to pour onto this device that has 3 coins around like a glass tube of sorts that the cell metals are going in. And as more people do this, the cell metals come in, and one of the coins starts flipping. And it will allow Gara to destroy the world and then take it over, because that's his plan. It's not a very complicated plan. Date ends up thinking about doing it for a second. We even get a scene with him with the haircut, and I'm like, Date, come on. You want to earn your money. You're not one to stoop this low.
Although, I feel like he could pull that off.
True. But this ends up separating him and Goto when a barrier goes up because the coin finally flips, and it ends up separating them from Eiji, Hina, Ankh, and Shun, who end up getting displaced to the Edo period of Japan as the coin flips. And now there's an Edo period of Japan in Japan, and there's a regular part of Japan now in the Edo period. Also, Kagami gets the hairdo because I guess Gara got tired of him laughing.
To be fair, can't blame anyone on that one.
We see another one of the jesters putting the core metals in a large, I guess, another metal-like structure, just slotting them into their proper slots because they all have little images in the slot of where they're supposed to go. Back with Eiji, we see them exploring the time period that they are in until they find regular people hiding behind a car as they're being harassed by people from the time period hiding behind a cart, and they're yelling and screaming and throwing shit at each other because everyone's confused and stuff. Eiji tries a hermit wisdom calming speech, but Gar ends up sending a goon after him for his core metals, so that's not going to work for long. Monster ends up attacking Eiji, but since he has no head metal that he knows of, and Ankh doesn't feel like giving up his yet, he kind of kept combos, but thankfully Hina tosses the tank near Eiji and he goes burst. Then I love that not only does he do his henshin pose as normal, and not only does he fight like normal, he also kind of fails as fighting his birth, trying to fight his O's.
Yeah.
I'm like, you get every part of this right.
Yeah, like, I have to love that the most. It's like, truthfully, he's not thinking that he is a different writer. He is just being O's in the birth suit. And it's like, yep, that is exactly what we would expect.
And I love that it's emphasized by it's like he's trying to use the drill arm like his Tora claws, but they don't have as much range, nor do they hit as hard as the Tora claws do. Because it's more of a, you jam this into them and you let it run for a few minutes kind of weapon. But the fight with the goon does not go well for Eiji. He ends up taking a shot for a couple of bystanders. bystanders from the past, mind you, not from the current day. That will be important in a minute. But the goons ends up sending his skull hand. He has a wolf dog-ish wolf hand, skull hand thing that he can send out like one time in this movie.
Yeah.
But he sends it after Ankh. Ankh ends up pushing Hina and the kid to safety and like tosses his hand out, but it's countered and he loses the other 2 red core medals that Gara didn't have at the moment. So he's got no reason to fuck with them anymore now. For the moment. It's like, oh, I now have all the medals I need. Well,
bye.
Guess you can just sit there in the past now. until I feel like ripping the medals out of Edgy.
Yeah, because, can't do that at the same time.
Nope. But the goon ends up retreating, and all of the civilians are back to fighting. Edgy's Hermit Wisdom check fails this time, because, when you go Rider and Ankh shows off his arm, it damages the Wisdom check. But a local samurai, to name him specifically, it is Tokugawa Yoshimune. That's not the name he goes by for now, but that's his actual name, and that is also an actual historical Japanese figure. Which will play into the secret crossover portion of this movie that we'll get to in a bit. But he gets everybody to calm down and be cordial for now. Edgy tries to cheer up a sad kid, but all he's got on him is Tomorrow's underwear, so...
Yeah.
Got nothing. I've had nothing. But the kid does make the save because he had a little piece of candy on him, and that, cheered up the kid. So, attaboy, Shun. Attaboy. I love how Edgy just ruffles his hair, too. Like, aw, you could actually probably be a really good father. Since family is a pretty big theme in this movie.
Yeah.
But they end up heading off because Ankh is just mad about everything. He is extremely not happy this movie for this portion of it. But Toku does take notice of one of the cell medals that is on the ground, and that's important for later. But as the group's heading out and they're trying to find a place to rest, they end up at the Kuskasier because the Kuskasier just so happened to be nearby them and got time swapped too. So I guess we can just hang out at the Kuskasier. And also Chiyoko's just busy keeping the restaurant open because I guess come hell or high water, the shop will be open no matter what.
Well, I love the fact, too, that she was like, well, I mean, I didn't know what to do, so I just did what I normally do. It's like, yeah, I can see that.
And I'm just going to put it on the table. This is still a thing, even in Megamax. We end that movie with Chiyoko going, no, we'll open up tomorrow after the restaurant gets trashed. It's like, nah, we'll just clean up the place a little bit, open up tomorrow. We'll roll with it. Look, I didn't get this restaurant open just to close it whenever something shitty happens. No. We open no matter what.
So, just to close it every day?
Yep. Also, she's just handing out ice pops, which Ankh is the only one to make note of it. It's just like, damn it, I want one right now. Why are you giving those away? I need one. It'll make me feel better. Considering I'm down to my literal last medal, considering a scene later.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Goto and Date are trying to work out a plan since they are out of equipment and don't have a whole lot of information right now. But they do get to witness that another coin flips, and it brings dinosaurs to Japan. Well, this is happening now.
Also, I saw what they did there with, and your notes transitions this perfectly. Dinosaurs come. What metals are left?
The dinosaur metals. It's almost like this is relevant. I mean, it also doesn't help that I believe the third swap is the Egyptian pyramids. And the set of core metals that are exclusive to this movie are all reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
Two of which would be relevant in that area. Not sure about the third one. Yeah, Gara sounds purple core metals at the moment, and also one flip away from the end of the world. So we are, I think, halfway through this movie at the moment, and we are rightly fucked. Because, like we said on the pre-show, this is an hour-long movie.
Yeah, either just barely clipping the hour mark or clipping close to the hour 15, depending on which version.
Yeah, because my notes are done for the director's cut version, but I know you watched the regular version, so...
And so far, nothing seems different.
It might be the credit sequence. The credit sequence is pretty elaborate and long. But Edgy and crew are regrouping and trying to figure out a plan. Hina drops some advice to the kid, considering possessed family members, because, Ankh and her brother, Ara and his mother, so... just trying to help the kid out. Later that night, Edgy gets the gist of things from the kid about how his mom, bit of a workaholic, doesn't make a whole lot of time for him. He's kind of upset about that. Said a thing he didn't want to say. They were at the same area, but didn't get a chance to make up before she got taken away. So, yeah. And as I say in my notes, this surprisingly sounds like Tyson. I wonder if anyone's made that connection.
I want to say yes, but probably not.
Well, it's not I feel like It Was Wonderful is not a big talked about solo writer film.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's enough, then people would say one thing or another.
Yeah. But Edgy manages to
this. To be fair, this is way too similar.
Yeah. Down to character names and aspects of the plot.
It's one of those. I feel like this was just copy and paste kind of concept here. We had the idea once, and then it's just, well, that worked. Okay.
Yep. But meanwhile, to all this, to Edgy being a really good fatherly figure to this kid, who probably doesn't have a father, living father, maybe? There is no father in this family that we've seen, so chances are he's dead.
Very true.
Yeah. But Kogami ends up proposing that Edgy be offered the whole yes-no, the 5 million yen hairpiece situation. Because Kogami is going to bet on Edgy pulling a fuck you. Because he knows Edgy.
But you know what's funny? I feel like with this, that it was a case of Kogami knew that either way, Edgy was going to manage to screw up Gaara's plan.
Yeah.
Like, either answer, I feel like was going to screw it up. Oh, that's what's so perfect. It's like Kogami knew exactly how to play every card correctly right there. Which
It's almost like this is
goes right along with his character because that's how he's been all show.
yeah. It is like I am surprised Kagami is not a villain in O's, but I'm also glad because I don't think anyone would win besides him.
Yeah, because he always has everything calculated, even if it doesn't seem like he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of those that early O's, yeah, it super looks like he's final villain material. After a while, you're starting to be like, oh, I hope he's not.
No, he's like Edgy's greatest asset, and like why he wins half the time is because he has the information or the knowledge that he needs.
And it's one of those that it's like, oh, yeah, I hope he's not final villain because otherwise, okay, we are screwed.
Yeah, like he's not even a villain because I know like the gist of the plot of Traveler Senkai, which is for reference, Traveler Senkai is a 3DS game that crosses over Double through Gaim. Although Gaim is more like just your ride-along character for the story, as it's primarily a crossover from Double to Wizard. And like Wizard is weird, where Wizard just gets to relive all of his events, while Double O's and Forza get original content.
Well, that's kind of messed up.
Well, it's because this came out early into Gaim's run. So there's not a whole lot of Gaim material to work with.
Well, I mean, I get that with Gaim, but...
Yeah.
Really? Nothing for Wizard?
Well, he's still a part of the story and stuff. It's just like a lot of his story beats for his parts are like remixes of events from his show. Weirdly.
Yeah, and that feels odd.
Yeah. I think it might be trying to imply that like these events are happening alongside the Wizard show.
Maybe.
I guess. But anyway, the thing I was going to bring up is that like Kagami is here because this is the one writer game where a lot of the side characters that aren't like monsters or anything actually get to appear and do stuff. And Kagami figures out how to make a portal to the main villain's lair using the final form powers of the main four who have access to them.
Well then.
Yeah. I believe that's how it goes, and I'm like, okay, so you utilize the powers of Extreme, Phototerra, Cosmic, and Infinity to crack open a portal to go fight the final villain. Hot damn.
Huh. I feel like that almost puts Kogami as probably the smartest supporting character.
I'll put it this way: if you ever want to do a big like Foundation X crossover from like Double through Build, Kogami is probably going to be a very important side character.
Yeah.
In the end, because I would not be surprised if I wouldn't be shocked if you said, "Oh, Kagami knows where everybody is. Oh, he knows all these riders and knows where they are and what their powers are and stuff." And he might be secretly researching them a little bit. He may or may not be a silent partner of Yggdrasil in the background.
Huh.
But again, that's a 3DS game that I super want to stream, but I need to figure out 3DS streaming or 3DS emulation.
It can be challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. I had problems just trying to get the goddamn ROMs.
I know the one time I tried Link Between Worlds, I was struggling to get it at a playable frame rate. So it's one of those that's not super refined, so if you don't have a powerful enough computer to emulate it, then it's going to be a challenge all on its own.
Yeah. I would just like to try and see if it's possible. Anyway, back to the movie. We get a really cute scene because Edgy and the Shun meet back up with Hina and Ankh. And we just get a cute scene between the three of them. Ankh is being grumpy and grouchy about the whole family thing because he's not being bribed yet. But cutting back to Gara, she agrees and sends one of her dressers out to go make the offer. Kagami, although, is unconfident in Edgy's ability. Also, mostly because I feel like, yeah, he knows what Edgy's desire is. He knows what's going to happen.
At this point, we all know what Edgy's desire is.
Yeah, it helps that we... Yeah, literally the world. Literally too big for even a Yummy to go, fuck, I can't cut this. I can't break this. I don't know what to do. Go, put it back. No, nope, can't do it.
That's part of the reason why I feel like Kogami's like, yeah, okay. If he falls for the trap, then that's going to screw Gara's plan up because it's going to be too big. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't fall for the trap, that's still going to screw up the plan, but piss Gara off instead.
But meanwhile, we check in with the Greeds, who have been absent for most of this movie, which is weirdly enough normal for a lot of the Phase 2 solo films.
Yeah.
Because it's like our main villains like take a sideline so that the movie villains can just do their thing. And it's just like, well, they're happening, so we either help the main heroes or don't do anything. Because either way, doesn't affect us.
Except for in a case like this where, you know, the world could end if they don't do something.
Yeah. I do like how they try to compare Maki and Gara, and Maki's like, no, we're not. I want to end the world and it be the end. He wants to end the world and make a new one. We're different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want an end, not his end beginning end.
I mean, I kind of see Maki's point. He just wants it to be done. Whereas Gara's like, no, I want to repaint it. And it's like, yeah, they've got a similar short-term goal, but their long-term goal is very different.
Yeah. I do love how Kazari is the last one we see in this scene, and he's the one quietly putting the plan together of just like, this might be our only option. We might have to do this. We don't know what that is, but we'll see in a little bit. We end up at the next day. Goto and Date are working to break the barrier because they now have information on a weak spot in the barrier. Unfortunately, without the birth driver or a not as of properly existing yet proto-birth driver, they have to shoot the birth buster at full power without a suit. So, they're trying.
But, okay. They have to have a full powered shot from the birth buster.
Yep.
Except there's 2 birth busters right now. So couldn't they fire like both at half power? And that work?
Maybe, but then they have to worry about the kickback on both of them. And then it becomes a case of, do we want to both be taking the brunt of it, or can we share the brunt of it?
Okay, but seeing as the kickback at full power didn't really like send them flying 3 miles down the road or nothing, I would have to think half power wouldn't be too horrible.
Probably not. It's one of those cases of, we're on the short term here, we're going with whatever the fuck we got, and also maybe because the other birth buster is with the proper birth driver on the other side. Maybe they're borrowing Gotos.
I didn't think about that, but you know, you might be right on that.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, Date not having his dimensional pocket with everything in it is kind of a problem too.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back with Edgy and Ankh, they're prepared to fight the knights and the goon that are coming to fight them. And Ankh decides that, well, you need to fight as O's. Take my medal. Like, I will disperse, you will take my core consciousness medal, so you can actually become O's. And I am not going to lie, I don't know if this is foreshadowing or not. Like, okay, I don't know if it's intentional foreshadowing or not, but this is a thing we will see in series.
It probably is, and the reason I say that is because of the line later, where he's saying about he can't do that too frequently, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I feel like that might have been intentional foreshadowing there.
Also, I have to adjust my settings. I'm echoing off you.
Yeah.
Or you're
you kinda
echoing
were.
off me.
Now it's only when we both talk at the same time, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Edgy transforms. I do like how we have the slowdown version of the transformation, so you can kind of see how the slot machine aspect of the medals work. Although I think it's technically a different version of it.
Of course, I'd have to have it side by side, but it kind of looked the same. Like, I didn't notice a difference.
I think there's less medals going on.
Well, that might be the case.
Yeah, he's going off to fight the goons. The Birth Brothers are having a rough time breaking the barrier, and Edgy is having a rough time fighting the knights and the goon because he is extremely outnumbered. He tries to step in and help with a very small stick. And I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or not that she has a small stick, even though she could probably wield like a fucking hose from one of these houses without a problem. But that is when our samurai friend Toku shows back up and helps out Edgy take out the knights in a very like samurai movie couple of scenes. They're also helped by all the civilians. They are distracting the knights and throwing shit at them because they are really good at throwing shit at things. They manage to take out all the knights, which leaves us down to our goon. And that is when Toku reveals that, oh, by the way, I have a set of orange core medals here. Your cell medal reminded me that we had this somewhere in the closet. I don't know where the orange core medals come from and how they fit in the overall O's lore and stuff, but they exist. And they will also show up in series.
Wait, really?
It is a blink. Yes, it is a blink and you miss it moment, but they do exist in series.
That's weird then.
Yep.
Because
So
mean,
the show,
we're super used to at this point being like, oh well, that's a movie exclusive form. It does not actually have to fit into the show. But if this does, then it's like, okay.
here's a weird thing. Not only does O's acknowledge its movie exclusive form, Forze will acknowledge the movie exclusive form from Mega Max in an episode late in the show.
Huh.
It took them like 20 plus episodes to do it, but it's like one of those. Wait, I'm not used to you actually acknowledging movie events as like they actually happened. Wait a minute. Can we rewind real quick? So that actually did happen. For once, you acknowledge continuity.
But okay, then this poses a bigger problem. If it acknowledges the orange core medals in show, but there's things that also puts this maybe outside of continuity, then how does that actually work?
It's called Toei Plays Fast and Loose in continuity, and I try not to think about it half the time unless it's blatantly obvious. Unless it is plot relevant, I try not to think about it. Like I said, the Burakawani medals, I didn't even know they were in show until I read a note that said they were in show. And I was like, they are? And it's just a literal blink and you miss it. They are right there, and that's it. They don't have plot relevance. They're not acknowledged. They are just there, so you can take it however you want. So I shrug and go, fine. But yeah, the orange core medals, to get back to the movie, give O's the Burakawani form, cobra, turtle, crocodile? I believe it's crocodile.
Yeah.
And he uses them to take out the goon, and also has just have a flute nearby so you can do some snake charming with it.
Which, was that actually just nearby, or did that actually fall out of the suit?
No, that was nearby.
I feel like that would have been
like,
better if that just fell out of the suit somewhere. Like, to be fair, that would be just funny if it was a case of, the suit just has the flute.
Yeah. So yeah, Burakawani gets its one appearance, and it's kind of done. Unk gets his body back because I guess he maneuvered his core metal into the can. I love how Edgy didn't even dunk it in there for him. He's like, no, I will move it here myself, since you're using these new core metals to just come out of nowhere. Meh. But Toku heads out, and he's back to his own show. Yes, this is a secret crossover with the long-running period piece, The Unfettered Shogun, where the actor who's playing Toku appeared in, and it only recently ended at the time of this movie airing. So, also, I believe that show is on the same channel that Kamen Rider is on, so it's really a crossover for that show. I didn't even know about that until I read into the notes, and I'm like, oh, that's why you're important enough to be put in the Battle Ride War 2. But this is when one of the jesters arrived to give Edgy a chance time. Yes, it is chance time.
Chance time.
I wasn't thinking Mario Party for most of it until this last time with the notes, and I'm just like, damn it is chance time.
Yeah.
But she offers him a choice of he can return alone, but in exchange, everybody in the village disappears, along with the village itself. Edgy asks if he can bring his family along, and the jester agrees. And that's when Edgy says yes, and Hina is like distraught by this because it's like, Edgy, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no! And even the people behind him are like, what? And we see cell metals fall into the container, but Edgy actually considered everybody in the village family because that's Edgy. So fuck you.
Everyone on the world is his family.
Yeah. Like, he literally tells the Jester, it's just like, I will not go until my desire is filled. And there are so many cell metals pouring into the device, pouring into the container, that it overflows and breaks it. Because Edgy's desire is too big to contain.
Meanwhile, Kogami just kind of grins like, yep, I knew it.
See? I know my pawn. I guess. I'm not sure what Kagami considers his relationship with Edgy.
I don't either.
Yeah, since it broke the container, it ends up kind of just breaking the spell, so everything kind of gets put back to normal. So as we see the metals flip back around and everyone's back in place, we get I honestly love this segment right here because it's wonderfully shot. As it's being put back, we just see Edgy, Ankh, Hina, Shun just standing there ready to go. Edgy hops on the bike, admits that he had no idea if that would work or not, but he ran with it because it's the best thing he could think of. Which is so Edgy as well, and I love it. Also, just for reference, the entire time that this dialogue starts and goes, Oz's theme song is playing, and goddamn it, do I love that Oz's theme song is playing, and this is how you do a fucking theme song monologue and stuff.
Yep. Also,
just gonna put it out there, Gio.
I do love the small little detail too that they did with it.
Hello?
I'm still here.
There?
I don't know what happened with you.
Okay, Discord hung.
What I was saying though is I do love the little detail that they do too, and you know how in the opening he has the henshin.
Yep.
I love that they even managed to line that up. Because it's in the exact same spot even.
I didn't notice that. Hot damn, attaboy.
Yeah. Like they nailed it to the T right there. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how you do that.
I'm gonna quit.
What he was trying to say was he's gonna try to fix something real quick. I think Discord tried to break. I hope Discord didn't fully break. Yeah, I really hope Discord didn't try to break.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
I wanted to restart Discord to see if that was the problem. It be the problem.
You say it
Granted,
seemed
now
to be
there-
the problem, or not seem to be the problem?
It seemed to be the problem because, like, it seemed like Discord was hanging for some reason.
That's weird.
Yep. But yeah, so this seed right here. I also love how we get the third Taka medal, and it turns out to just be an edgy shoe. And Ankh is just quietly upset about that. And I just have to look at him and go, shouldn't you be able to detect that? Shouldn't you be able to notice when your core medal is nearby?
I mean, probably.
Yeah. So, Ankh, just not gonna lie, this one's on you.
And this is also the point where we get Ankh saying about how he can't just die when a lot.
He just can't, like, explode his body every day. That's not healthy.
And that's part of the reason why I feel like that might have been intentional foreshadowing. Like, if it wasn't intentional, it was at least foreshadowing of some point. Anyhow.
Yeah. But yeah, Edgy rides off now that he can be proper O's. The Birth Brothers managed to blow up the shield with the Clausosauri that they have to hold in place for some reason. So Edgy breaks in, and I love how even the Taco Candroids like make the path for him, a la episode 1, and he breaks in with the Meta Jalabur, but also has the Metagabria that he, I guess, didn't pick up along the way. Because he did. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And I also have a little problem with that. It's one of those that I'm like, we made the comment about Edgy not having control over the purple course, so I feel like that's a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, I get to the at this point in the show he did wield it without going into the form, but at the same time I'm like, I feel if we want to acknowledge that, then we ought to acknowledge that he does have some control using the purple cores.
Yeah. It's one of those, I feel like they had mixed notes about what was coming, so they kind of just went with what they needed. It's like, we need the Metagabria for this scene, so Edgy can wield it. Oh, we need Putoterra under control for the next scene? Oh, that just is. We need Edgy to not try to go Putoterra just yet. Okay, we'll run with it. We got to run with what we got to make the plot happen.
Yeah, and see, that's the other problem too, because every other time that Edgy has needed to go to O's, you know, Putoterra kind of happens when he doesn't have the other medals handy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those, the fact that he went birth earlier kind of is one of those that doesn't make direct, it doesn't make good flow with what we get later on too. And it's one of those, it's like, yeah, everything pertaining around Putoterra, you can tell someone didn't get everything. They got some of it.
Yep. Continuing along, Edgy just does the hero speech to Gaara. Just is like, fuck you, fuck your bullshit, I'm getting that mom back, and you're dying. God damn it, I love a good hero entrance and a good fuck you villain, I'm gonna win. 'Cause, 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 But Gara goes monster form because she absorbs a whole bunch of cell metals. Satanaga just does a quick fight scene to get her and Kagami out of harm's way. I love how Satanaga is secretly a badass. It's like, her and Chiyoko could probably do something really important, but they got other shit to do, so it's like, oh, we only fight when we do.
Which, I mean, that works.
Eiji takes the fight outside with Gara, and is having a rough time with it because Gara is pretty strong. Hina and the kid arrive, and a solid strike from the Metagabria manages to get the mom like free enough for him to grab her hand and pull her out. So she's saved. Yay!
Part 1 down.
So saves the mom, ends up taking Gara like away from all that. And that is when we see a meteor come falling to the ground. And that meteor turns out to be Gentaro as Kamen Rider Forze, making his early bird cameo. Who is just so casual, just like, hey, monster, yay.
And by early bird cameo, you mean before he could actually be Forze cameo?
Well, it's early bird cameo because this is Gentaro's first appearance as Forze. Well, this is the first appearance of Forze. So if you wanted the first appearance of Forze, you had to go see the movie. But also, this is the first appearance of Forze because he's actually not Forze yet.
Yeah.
But again, I just love that he just shows up. He sees the monster and is like, hey, fight the monster, right? Yes? Cool! I'm gonna go fight the monster. And Eji's like, why? Gentro's just like, I'm Kamen Rider Friendship. That's what I do. I love that not only does Eiji quote himself from A to Z, Gentaro does his whole thing of just like, I will befriend all the riders, which is not a thing in series. It only exists in crossover films. It exists for the second episode of Forze, but is immediately dropped because they changed Forze to where instead of having a whole bunch of returning actors, they just did Forze's own story. So yeah, he just beats up Gentaro, or Gentaro just beats up Gara for a little bit, and you see a bit of Forze action before Yuki calls in. Which, by the way, here's a side character. Here's like the main supporting character for Forze, also making an early bird cameo in her first appearance in the franchise, calling Gentaro, telling him, "Yo, you're late for class, or you're late for a club. You need to come back." And Gendaro's like, oh shit, I gotta wrap this up quick. And then proceeds to just grab Eiji with magic hand, does a fastball special with him, and then knocks Gara into the tower. Also, this will be referenced in Megamax.
I take it as it happens again.
Yes. There's a reason Megamax is a wonderful movie, because it just goes, we're just going to make continuity references and just go, fuck it. We're just going to make it work. Who cares? We're doing a cool crossover movie. So Date ends up arriving late after Gentaro says his goodbye, does his handshake, and goes, oh yeah, I'm a high school student. Hi, Oz. Thanks. Happy to help. Bye. Also, this is one of those weird early bird cameos where we actually see the character out of suit.
Yeah, normally that doesn't happen.
Date arrives, but yeah, like I said, Date arrives late. Eiji is kind of feeling like the movie's going to be over, except Gara just reaches a hand out, rips 3 purple core medals out of him, and now he has all 21 medals he needs to go big monster form. So now Edgy and Date have to take out the big monster, and it's not working because it's too big, and two of us aren't enough. That's when the other greeds arrive, and Uva tosses Edgy a set of green core medals. A full set of green core medals, mind you, even though Edgy has Bata at the moment and is currently using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's important for later. So Edgy goes Gatakiri Ba, and it seems to be working. He does manage to pull out a set of the red core medals back to Ankh, but numbers are not enough. So we need some power. So the rest of the greeds toss a full set of their medals, including an extra head purple core medal to Edgy, so he can just go all of his combos at once.
And it looks amazing.
It is. There's a reason we recreate the scene frame by frame in Battle Royale War 2. This is also why people will go, Edgy is pretty powerful because the fact that he can do this. He can just go, oh, you want to fight me? Fight all of me with all my powers at once. Let's see how long you last. And the fact is, like, not only would you be fighting all of those at once, you'd be fighting also several dozen copies of Gatakiri Ba along with that, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with all the medals in hand, Edgy just pops the finisher immediately. Because, like, when you have, 8 forms in play at the moment, you might as well just pop all finishers. Yeah, all finishers, level 3 burst assist with the breast cannon. Gara is obliterated. And it just rains Sol medals. And the movie's over. We wrap up with Edgy bribing Ankh to hold Hina's hand so they can be a nice little happy family. The kid and the mom are okay. I don't know what happened with the greeds, but that's probably not important.
And no one knows what happens with the core medals.
Yeah, it's one of those, look, we gotta wrap this movie up. We're pushing our time limit. Like, the weird thing is, a regular cut of Megamax, the movie keeps going during the director's cut, or going during the credits. Like, there's so much movie in Megamax, they have to keep the movie going during the credits. It's fixed in the director's cut where the movie just plays out like normal. And you get the credits after everything, but it is hilarious. We have too much movie for the hour time limit we were supposed to have. Oops. But that is O's wonderful. What'd you think?
I wish that it was fully in continuity.
I do too.
Because, like, that's probably the biggest downside to it, is it's like, it's a good movie, and then we have absolutely nothing to tie it into the main series proper, and it's like, well.
Yeah. I do wish this movie could be in continuity. I'm sure you could finagle it. Super finagle it.
Maybe.
As like it.
But I feel like short of having some things just rewrote or ignored completely, that's still a tough task.
Yeah. Which I feel like is writer continuity in general. Of you gotta take it as you said. But even then, this is a really nice solo film.
Yeah. Solo / secret crossover.
Yeah. Secret crossover for a show I didn't even know existed. I knew the actor was famous, and I thought it's like, oh, he's here because he played this character before. Not, oh, he played this character in a series, in a long-running series that also ran on the same channel and also just ended. So here's like his final time playing it in this writer movie because fuck it. And it's not like, weirdly enough, it's not like it interrupts the movie at all.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel weird.
If anything, I feel like it might actually work with it better.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, it's some samurai guy in a time period where there's samurais. That makes sense. I feel it's weirder if you know the context and are like, isn't this a big deal? Shouldn't this be a big deal?
Probably should, actually.
Yeah, I enjoy this movie. I don't know if I can rate it as high as A to Z. Because A to Z does have the benefit of being not only a good movie, but a good movie in continuity.
Yeah.
And this can only just be a good movie with some hiccups here and there. But I still like it. I don't see a lot of people make a big deal about O's Wonderful, so I kind of want to say it's a bit underrated.
I have to feel like you're probably right on that.
But anything else?
I can't think of anything, actually.
All right. Next week, we are picking up with the second to last batch of episodes, 41 through 44 of Kamen Rider O's. We'll get to find out what happened to Ong and Long and the whole greed situation as it evolves. And also the whole Purple Core Metal situation, which will be important in the final 8 episodes of the series.
Still kind of hard to believe we're that close to the end of it.
Yeah. You probably won't feel the same way about Force, though. Force is a bit more weak. Even late into its run, it's still fairly week to week. But I still like it. Yeah, that do it for me, for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We will see you this week for all the wonderful stuff we do, like Yakuza 0, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Writer Mod Minecraft / Minish Cap, and the podcast this Saturday, which will probably be talking about some Smash-related stuff and other wonderful news that will come out.
Yep.
See you then, folks.